Welcome to Tuesday night. It is Taco Tuesday. It is Cinco de Mayo. It is awesome. And Angie is in first. Angie who is in first, and a close second, Heather from Iowa, number 3. Dana is watching us tonight. How is Ann tonight? The Welties are watching. I'm honored. Kitty Boyce is with us. Hello, Angie. Angela and Sylvie are joining us. Yes, a margarita here tonight. Dana's with us. Hello, Miss Adele and Dazzle. Barb Gallo is watching tonight and added herself to my email list today. I think today. I pulled you off the printer anyways today, Barb, so you're on my list. Hey, Heidi. Jennifer, late today. You must have been working hard. So, Kitty, did you change from your Coors to a margarita because of Cinco de Mayo, or are you still on the Coors? Jennifer and Jeff, welcome. Sarah's with us. Hey, Joanne, it was great talking with you tonight. Love that. At work late. That is overtime, Jennifer Johnson. I mean, you make sure your employer, accounts for that time there. Sherry is Texas proud. Cheers, Sherry. Julie Jankowitz is with us. The mountains are still blue. I'm okay with that, Kitty. Consistency, it works with my numbers and orderly kind of thing, so I'm okay with that. Hello, Pat. Rick is with us in South Carolina. It was great talking with him yesterday. And I do have, for those that are Texas, I do have my Texas glass with my margarita tonight. I think a little rum would help with your, especially with your payroll clerk, Jennifer. Jana's with us, and she's Texas strong. Jana, we got the Texas glass tonight. Chris is with us. Stephanie Potts is with us tonight. Great to have everybody here on this Tuesday evening. Stella in Reno. How is Stella in Reno tonight? Good to have you all with us. So what is everybody grateful for this Tuesday night, this Cinco de Mayo? I know Laura's got a drink with her tonight. Laura's got a margarita, or somewhere a margarita in her future on this Cinco de Mayo. Cheers, Laura. Good to have you with us. Very good indeed to have you with us. So what is everybody grateful for on this Tuesday night? That's how we start the night every night. We find out what we're grateful for. Dina's on my list. I know Dina's on my call list. Bourbon. I like bourbon. Bourbon's good. I'm more Scotch, but bourbon is good. Kitty had online sales. That's a good thing. Lisa had more employees come on board. Probably get to my call with Lisa tomorrow, I think, on where I am on my list, Lisa, but you are on my list. I know that. Hey, Alexa. Dana and Jeff Johnson are with us. Angela had customers back today, and it was steady. And only $68 in payouts. Exactly. Didn't I tell you all that there would not be a run on the bank when you open up? But those people that wanted the total of $68, Angela, those were some of your biggest pains in the neck, weren't they? Hey, Leanne. Yay, Alyssa! I remember at the start of all this, the pull-up problem. I remember the diaper problem and the supply issues. Oh, that is so exciting. Yes, grateful for employees, some good sales. I'm grateful our governor now allows us to have, will not allow us to open, will not allow us to do curbside sales, but will allow us to have 3 employees per building at any one time. So I am excited about that. I'm excited, honored to have that nice article written about us. For those of you that saw that article that was written about us, it started out, it was going to be, when I was first contacted by the writer, I'm doing an article on antique stores and everything, and I'm writing about all these antique stores, and then it turned into the article that was all about us, and on the front page of the paper, which was even better. Chris is catching up on March drop-offs now because all her staff is back. And Alyssa finished her pricing guide today. Yay! The Acostas are with us today, and they're going to wake up tomorrow and be very grateful. I am predicting. So glad you got your PPP approval, Wendy. Thank you, Julie and Kitty. Appreciate that. Yeah, it really was. They did a nice job with that. I was surprised, and they couldn't send out their photographer, and they wanted a shot like they used. And my best friend is a former wedding photographer and such, and he came out of quarantine to come in and dig out his old cameras. He felt bad because these are my older cameras, and he came and took that picture. Yes, that idol is approved, Chris and Sass. And what's more is it'll be in your bank account probably tomorrow. That's the even more exciting part that I'm very excited for you, because approved and everything else means a lot, but money in the bank means even more. So, and I know that as I talk and work with each and every one of you, I know how important that is. So. But it's coming. The process is working. It is not perfect. It is not a perfect process, but the process is working and money is coming. So just hang in there. Bonnie's watching with us in the 404, maybe even Park. And her daughter's new book hit stands today. Can't wait for your new boat. I told you you can't buy a new boat, Chris. I told you can't buy the new boat. The only person who can buy a boat is Vina, and that's because her husband's in the boat business. Okay, that's the only person out of all of you that can get a boat from the proceeds here, unless you're opening a boat consignment store. No, Alexa, you can't postpone till June. The most you can postpone is 10 days from when they got the approval. The SBA and the Treasury have been all over the banks on that and sent out additional guidance on that. So you cannot postpone more than 10 days from when they got the approval. And since I think you're back to being with a big bank, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get much of a delay at all. As soon as you hit sign on the documents, the money will be in your account. If you're with a big bank. Park is with us tonight, too. Hey, Park and Bonnie, great to have you. Can you buy a boat? No, Julie, you can't buy a boat either. You can buy a season pass to Six Flags, since that's across from your parking lot, and that's like a business trip to go across the parking lot. Yes, Bonnie's Daughter, Silence on Cold River by Casey Dunn is hit the book stands today. You can buy that. Order it online, Amazon, and you'll be good. But no, it is not 10 business days. It is 10 calendar days. And it's from when they got the approval, not when they told you about it. And depending on your bank, that can be very, very different. Because many banks, because of the volume they're handling, aren't getting the approval, letting you know that it's been approved until they've had it on their books for several days. So the clock has already been ticking on that. But again, strategies on spend, making sure you spend it properly. It's a very individualized process, so please do not hesitate to reach out. I am happy to work your numbers with you. It's what I do most of the day, is me and the pink calculator sit there and we run the numbers on people's PPPs and figure out and help make sure that they work, because I want it to be a grant for everyone. I do not want anyone to end out with a loan. So no loans for anyone in this. I'm not here to put you in debt. I'm just here to make you survive. So with that, folks, I guess we should start with now that we've heard what everybody's grateful for, and we're moving into questions, let's open our Good Morning, Good Night book. I am sorry that you missed me, Michelle, but you know how to reach out to me. And actually, who did I talk to in Virginia? You're in Virginia Beach, aren't you? Aren't you Virginia Beach, or is that somebody else? I'm forgetting. I know somebody in Virginia Beach because I was with somebody else in Virginia Beach today. A tire place in Virginia Beach. Isn't you Virginia Beach, or are you just Virginia, Michelle? Hey, Karen, and I'm working for Kitty, and I'm going on vacation. Our Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Joni's watching live. Yeah, I'll have to look up the tire place that I'm working with in Virginia Beach area. The name escapes me. I want to say Tire Town, but I could be completely wrong. I could be completely making that up, Michelle. But I have it up on my desk. 20 minutes from the beach. Let's go to the beach. And you got Krispy Kreme donuts, so you know you're really a cool place to hang out with. So our Good Morning, Good Night book. Hello, Crystal. Thanks for joining us. Our good morning tonight. Good morning. It's okay to let your mind drift. Whoa, cool drift, kid. All right. So Michelle had a drifting day because she didn't tune in yesterday. That's okay, Michelle. Miss a day, miss a lot. So let's see what we got going on today. Got lots of stuff in my pile here. I don't even know. I didn't have time to fully organize it. Hey, if you aren't friends, or are friends with Ellen Didion on Facebook, you really got to check her post out about her sister and what her sister did the other day and how her sister saved 3 people's lives. I mean, you got to read the whole story. You can't just read the headline. It's long. I'll tell you that in advance. But it is an amazing story. I mean, I've always known Ellen to be a tough, strong, unbelievable woman. And to read that story, I mean, it was just, I read every word of it, you know? I mean, so often on Facebook, you just scroll by things, and when you see something long, you click like to it, and, you just move on. You don't really read it. But this is a story about her sister and the lives her sister saved in the last few days that is so worth reading, so I can't even tell you, just read it. If you're her friend, ask to be her friend, because she's a friend of all, if you haven't read it. Which brings me a quote for today. Yeah, it was incredible, Joanna. It was really, really incredible. Every day is another chance to get stronger, to eat better, to live healthier, and to be the best version of you. Kind of boom on that one, huh? Okay, I promised, and I finally found it. So I found these COVID signs that are printable. You know, so many of us are buying signs. Notice, wear a protective mask, or all employees are required to check their temperature. Practice safe distancing. All sorts of signs. One of the stamp store fixtures, which is out of Atlanta, or at least Georgia anyways. I always call them Atlanta. I'm not sure if they're really in Atlanta. Stamp store fixtures made all these printable signs. They all print 8.5 by 11 for you. Those will upload to the site later tonight, so you can print them should you want to. Let's see here. Cinco de Mayo. So I thought it was important, since today is not only Taco Tuesday, not only Tell Us Something Tuesday, but it is Cinco de Mayo. So I thought we should look at what Cinco de Mayo actually is, because we shouldn't just party for no reason. Oh, it's Cinco de Mayo, we should party, woo! I mean, granted, I tell you every night that I'm always up for a good party. But Cinco de Mayo is a holiday that celebrates the date of the Mexican Army's May 5th, 1862 victory over France at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. The day, which falls on Tuesday, May 5th in 2020, is also known as the Battle of Puebla Day. While it is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, in the United States, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a commemoration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with large Mexican populations. For the rest of us, it's just a reason to drink margaritas. Hang on a second. Although my mother-in-law does have some Mexican heritage in her. The other part of that was interesting is it's a popular misconception that it's Mexican Independence Day, but it really commemorates a single battle in 1861. A lawyer, Benito Juarez, was elected president of Mexico. At the time, the country was in financial ruin after years of internal strife, and the new president was forced to default on debt payments to European governments. In response to Mexico's default, France, Britain, and Spain sent naval forces to Veracruz, Mexico, demanding repayment. Britain and Spain negotiated with Mexico and withdrew their forces. France, however, ruled then by Napoleon III, decided to use the opportunity to carve an empire out of Mexican territory. Late in 1861, a well-armed French fleet stormed Veracruz, landing a large force of troops and driving President Juarez and his government into retreat. The Battle of Puebla, certain that success would come swiftly, 6,000 French troops under General Charles Latreille sent out to attack Puebla de Los Angeles, a small town in east-central Mexico. From his new headquarters in the north, Juarez rounded up a ragtag force of 2,000 loyal men, many of them either indigenous Mexican or a mix of ancestry, and sent them to Puebla. The vastly outnumbered and poorly supplied Mexican, led by Texas General Zaragoza, fortified the town and prepared for the French assault. On May 5th, they gathered their army and led an assault. So that is about where we get Cinco de Mayo. Keep in mind, with using vacation pay and everything else, you're still limited by the 15K exclusion. No one person can earn more than trend towards 15K. Edwin had tacos. I like that. I've seen hand sanitizer by the gallon running around $40 to $50, Pat, so I think that's about right, what it's running, but I am not an expert on sanitizer. Actually, I was kind of happy when I looked in our supply closet that we still had a bunch. In other retail news, Wayfarers Revenue, their net loss is growing in quarter one, even as their sales ballooned. Their sales grew nearly 20.3%. However, the net loss continued to grow some 43% from the year-ago period. To just in the last quarter, they lost $286 million. Okay, so even though they had big growth, the staying power and the possibility that they survive in the long term is continuing to be questioned. Hey, Zach. Rose, we're glad that you're alive too. I'm glad to have you here. JCPenney is suing Sephora. The stores inside JCPenney, Sephora wants to exit the stores within JCPenney that they're under contract for a couple more years. And JCPenney is filing suit to block that. Will be interesting to see how that turns out. J. Crew, a debt... So, in retail, where we're hearing so many just filing for bankruptcy and closing, a debt-free J. Crew is going to be reborn, finding a new life post-bankruptcy is what they're looking at. J. Crew laid out a plan in bankruptcy which will eliminate virtually all of the $1.7 billion of its leveraged buyout debt, freeing the chain up from $150 million in just interest payments alone a year. And while it'll be under the control of its lenders, it will have a chance to invest in their e-commerce marketing and store upgrades. And so, and this all started for them in 2011 when they were acquired and saddled with debt under their venture capital buyout for $3 billion. So this is actually a good thing. So a brand surviving. I found this interesting in today's news since we're talking about hand sanitizer right now. Hey, Krita and Jennifer, thanks for joining us. Hard Rock Stadium, okay, which is where the Miami Dolphins play. For those of you not Dolphins fans, although we do need to say, I have that quote too here someplace. Hang on a second, I did. Did I not print it? Maybe I have that in tomorrow's pile. Hang on a second, I'm trying to see if it's in my today pile, my Don Shula quote. I don't have it in my today pile. Or it doesn't look like it's in my today pile. Oh, hang on, maybe it's right here. No. Okay, but Hard Rock Stadium, okay, is the first stadium to earn a Global Biorisk Advisory Council star accreditation. So they're already starting to figure out how to get these stadiums back open. And so they're looking at it, and so the Global Biorisk Advisory Council has this accreditation for places, and Hard Rock Stadium in Florida has already been certified by it, which is kind of interesting, and it has to do with their cleanliness and how they plan on maintaining things moving forward. As the NFL releases their schedule this week, there is talk, should it be necessary, of reducing stadium size, but the game's going on. So, you know, stadiums that would hold 50,000 may only have 11,000 or 15,000 people in the stadium and such to keep distancing and things, should that be continued in the fall. Coming up for you, Kelly. Hang in there. I had to work on sports for a second, which was part sports, part health. And I'm going to save that for the end here, because that's a good one. So, yeah, I guess we got to move to that, Kelly. So we're going to move to what Kelly wants to talk about, is rent abatement. And really what that brings up, Kelly, is the greater issue of all the other things that Congress is working on. The Senate is back in session this week, and the House is back next week, and they really aren't expected to generate anything till earliest just before Memorial Day. That's when the next round of legislation is expected to actually pass, is just before they both leave for Memorial Day weekend. There's hope that they get something out sooner, but everybody is expecting it closer to then. So what does that mean? What are they working on? They're working on a federal fund, business interruption fund. Now, any of these may or may not happen. I'm not expecting a lot of this to come to fruition in the next several weeks. There's a lot of people upset about the amount of money that the government's been spending, and so there's pushback. There's liability reform. So, what are we responsible for? And it's more big company liability reform if you think about it. Think the meat plants that they know they have 700 COVID people with COVID-19 in them. So what is their liability as a company? More than your small store of any size. A rent forgiveness program, and what Canada has done is a model for them, although the American Congress can screw that up. What Canada did for rent reform, just to refresh your memory, is if landlords forgave 25% of 3 months' rent, okay, then, and the tenant paid 25%, so the landlord forgave 25%, the tenant paid 25% of their monthly rent for 3 months. The government kicked in the other half. So, which is a really good deal and a really nice, simple way of handling it. So rent forgiveness is on the table. I'm not sure where it's going to really go. Something needs to happen because there's a lot of commercial loan issues that are going to start bubbling up. So how they handle it, they'll complicate a ham sandwich. They won't make it as simple as that. I'm convinced on that. The other things that are on the table are business tax relief. No, it won't, Edwin. I'm really sad to say that it won't, because it's really very, very simple. My guess is they will do something very complicated to get the banks off the hook. Claire, that's a great question. So let's talk about rent there for a second, because that's what I've talked about before. So my recommendation is that you pay the percent as you have in the past. So if you look at your annual sales and you see that your sales are 10% of your rent, so your rent is 10% of your sales. So simple math here, your sales are $100,000 a year. You pay $10,000 in rent, your rent is 10%. During this time, okay, so that's what your sales normally run. During this time, your sales are much lower, but you still pay that same percentage based on your sales during the months. And that's one of the suggestions that I give. Yeah, the notes are very vague, Pat, and part of that is the notes that people are getting with the PPP are all covered by the line that says they can change anything in this that they want. If the SBA changes anything, they can change the note. So the notes are quick and dirty, okay, and the reality will be different. Other things that are on Congress's agenda: tariff relief, pandemic risk insurance, provisions for the workplace, financial aid for the U.S. Postal Service, and a national infrastructure plan are some of the key things. Now, some of the things that are getting noticed, okay, that there's actually a lot of talk about that hit today, is the whole issue with the extra $600 for unemployment and how that's handled, and how do you get people to want to come back to work when they're getting an extra $600 in unemployment. And so one of the proposals that Congress is considering is a return to work bonus, okay, that is on the table. and being discussed. And the return to work bonus would work on a sliding scale. So you come off unemployment, you return to work, and it would work on so that people would get, the proposal is a 7-week declining proposal, where the first week they would get $1,000, the next week they might get $950, week 3 they might get $800, and it would keep on going down until after week 7 when they wouldn't get any bonus. So part of it is to get them back off unemployment, because both Democrats and Republicans don't like the unemployment numbers. And part of it is to continue to pump money into the economy. So how that all plays out, it's a long time between now and a bill coming up for a vote. But I wanted to share that because of that. I thought that was really important there. Yeah, I'm with you, Edwin. That's going to be an issue, too. And I don't think that'll be forgotten. One of the things that, you gotta keep in mind, the CARES Act has so many things in it, in the 800 and something pages, and in the CARES Act Part 2 has so many things in it for all its pages. There's a lot that we don't know about. And I'll give you an example of things that haven't really made the news. But, I got an email from my daughter's school, her college that she's going to, that they received $1 point something million, okay, to help students, okay. They received under the CARES Act $1.4 million, okay, to help students that had to rush and move out of college because of the shutting down of the college. So, eventually us as parents would have to move her out of college and everything else, but you have all these students that were displaced and had to move quickly and such like that, and so they're dispersing money because the school got this money. It's a private school, and they got all this money because of the CARES Act that was given to them. So I found that rather interesting for other things that I didn't even know, because I admit, I have not read all 850 pages of the CARES Act. So keep in mind, so one of the big issues, so I talked about liability at work and legal liability issues and everything as part of the issues, and I mentioned like the meat plants. But one of the things of us as employers, as we return to work, is that you're dealing with health privacy is going to be an issue, okay? And what you ask your employees, you have to think about, again, I really like the form that we posted, which talks about self-certification, so that they don't tell you if they showed up to work, they passed. If they didn't show up to work, they didn't. But they're not giving you these forms on a daily basis so that you're then in charge of keeping track of health privacy. Discrimination claims. You really have to worry about discrimination in how you decide who is safe to come back to work and who isn't. You can't be making those decisions for your employees. You can't say that the 62-year-old should stay at home and the 58-year-old should come to work, okay? Or even the 18-year-old should come to work and the 60-year-old shouldn't, okay? You can't make those decisions for your staff or for your company. You have to be even across the board in how you handle it so that you don't end up with a discrimination claim down the road. And that's an important thing as we return to work and as stores open. That you keep in mind. And I know, because I know you guys, okay, I know that the decisions you're making regarding that and saying that Sally should stay at home because she's 67 and she has an elderly husband who's had cancer or something or has a compromised immune system, you can't make that decision for her. Is the short version. I know you're making it with the best of intentions, but you can't make that decision for her. she needs to make that herself, and you need to offer her to come back just like you would anyone else. So keep that in mind. And that really is that self-screening questionnaire that is posted on the narts.org/resalestrong page. narts.org/resalestrong is really great. Hey, Vicky, glad to hear you got the idle check. Boom. A lot of people are getting those. Hey, Brooke, how are you tonight? LaShawn, good to have you with us. In other retail news, one of the things that has changed drastically since March 1st is the retail stores that are on the watch list for elimination or bankruptcy and liquidation. And what's stark is these are stores that were not on the list as of March 1st. Some of those include Children's Place, Famous Footwear, L Brands. Others that are on the Standard & Poor's list are Belk, 99-cent only stores, Rite Aid, At Home, Petco, GameStop, Party City, and Academy Sports. Hey, Brooke got her PPP, and she's open, so she's going to be able to spend it. That's great, Brooke. I am happy to hear that. You don't have to honor that, Edwin, but you have to handle those requests evenly. Okay? So you do not have to honor that request, okay, Edwin? But when you do, you have to handle it evenly. So, if everybody requests to work behind the scenes, you can't just let Sally work behind the scenes because you know that she has her husband at home who has a compromised immune system, and the other ones who want to work behind the scenes don't. You just have to handle all the requests evenly. And it's kind of nice that now, in Massachusetts, so you just have to approach and know how you're handling that as well. And it's tough, it's tough for a lot of people. This is uncharted world here that we're all dealing with, and how we're working through it. So keep that in mind. To hit on a couple of PPP, direct PPP things tonight. One of the updated you can pay them, Bonnie, to an extent that shows up as a bonus, but you can't make them take their vacation now. So part of it is you can't make them do that now. You can change how you pay it. You can pay time off now, but you can't force them to. And so that's sort of the caveat there. There is a forced provision that you can, as a company, force the payout of it. Chris, yes, PPP is gross payroll, health insurance, the employer portion of state tax, state and local taxes, just not federal taxes. That is correct. Carrie Renzella, welcome to the program. So one of the updates to the FAQs last night, again, I covered this, and part of it was there's two parts to this updated question that have created a buzz today. And so let me read the question. Will a borrower's PPP loan forgiveness amount pursuant to Section 1106 of the CARES Act and SBA's implementing rules and guidance be reduced if a borrower laid off employees offered to rehire the same employee, but the employee declined the offer? So that is the question. No, as an exercise of the administrator's and the secretary's authority under Section 1106, Part D, 6 of the CARES Act, to prescribe regulations granting exemptions from the Act's limits on loan forgiveness, SBA and Treasury tend to issue an interim final rule excluding layoffs laid off employees who the borrower offered to rehire for the same salary, wages, and same number of hours from the CARES Act loan forgiveness reduction calculation. The rule will specify that to qualify for this exception, the borrower must have made a good faith written offer of rehire, and the employee's rejection of that offer must be documented by the borrower. Employees and employers should be aware that employees who reject offers of reemployment may forfeit eligibility for continued unemployment compensation. So you've got several parts there. One, okay, they're going to drop it from the calculation, so that'll drop an FTE. Two, okay, that you need to put it in writing, okay, that they're not coming back and that you offered the job, okay? And my recommendation is a letter to them certified, okay, that they will receive the letter in the mail about that they are choosing to do that of your offer to rehire. Whether they respond to it or not is their own choice. I don't expect people to actually respond to that, but you need to document how you informed them that you rehired, whether that was a phone call, and a written letter is fine and should do that. So that's an important update to that, but that reduces your your FTE count. And again, I'm expecting, does anyone have a good welcome back letter? Welcome back. It really honestly doesn't have to be much different than an original offer letter. Jennifer, it can be very, very simple. You don't have to get into the weeds with it, okay? You know, if you follow that language, okay, that you have offered them to come back for these hours, you need, and at this rate of pay, they're not going to actually replenish the 600 after June 30th, Brooke. There's much more interest in getting the unemployment numbers down, and so you missed me talking about how they're working on a bill to incentivize people to come off unemployment and giving them a bonus to come off unemployment. So that's not going to get replenished after June, Brooke. There's no appetite for it at the congressional level to make that happen, but there is some appetite to take people off the rolls and give them an incentive to come off. FTEs can be calculated by two different periods, Chris. Okay? The period, you can use either of these two base periods for your FTE calculation. February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. Okay? Or January 1st, 2020 to February 29th, 2020. And you, as the business owner, get to choose whichever period benefits you the most for FTE calculation. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the program. So, that is where that is. I know we covered a lot here tonight. You know, keep in mind, in life and in business, there are two types of decisions. Good ones and lessons learned. There's a good Simon Sinek quote. I am here live every night in the NARTS Facebook group, bringing you the latest information we got, taking your questions live in the NARTS private Facebook group. I then spend all day returning your phone calls, taking your phone calls and your individual questions, and answering them for you. And I take those questions via email. Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com is where you email me. Make sure you include your phone number when you email me, because most of these questions do require a call back. It's not a simple, quick and easy reply. Jennifer, to answer your question, because you didn't have the pen ready. Do you have the pen ready? Put down the spatula, pick up the pen. Spatula down, pen up. Okay, here we go again. The two time periods for FTEs calculation is either February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019, or January 1st, 2020 to February 29th, 2020. One more time. February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019, or January 1st, 2020 to February 29th, 2020 are the two periods. So I do this every night live. All the information, all the resources. Now go back to baking cookies, Jennifer. All the resources that I talk about here are here live every night at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow they are posted to the narts.org/resalestrong page, including this video that you can rewatch there on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store. We are Resale Strong, narts.org/resalestrong. We start every night of the program. We start the program every night by taking a look at our Good Morning, Good Night book. Our Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start the program every night and how we end it. For those of you that were not here at the top of the program tonight, our good morning today was, good morning. It's okay to let your mind drift. Whoa, cool drift, kid. Our good night tonight is good night. So glad we're drift compatible. Look at that. Hey everybody, I am Neil Abramson. I like a good party. I like being here to help you every night at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll be back here again tomorrow. If you need me in between, email me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. You, and especially you, are not alone running this store. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night. It's dinner time.